guys, it's Gary here again with another pickup video. Some of you guys might have noticed I haven't really done anything the last couple weeks. Most of you probably haven't though. You probably forgot you even subscribed to me. They're like, who the hell is this guy? So I was really busy. Last weekend we kind of did a last minute family trip out to the Colorado area. So you know, I didn't really get to do much game hunting or anything, or by the time we got back I just didn't have the energy to do a video, and I was going to do one this last week to kind of showcase what I got, but just didn't have time between work and everything. We had like a million crazy storms here, so it's just been kind of hectic lately. But I do want to make this one. I was going to do a couple separate videos, but I figured I'd just do it all in one, and I'll try to make this quick. I don't want to drag it out too long, but basically what I did was I figured since last weekend I wasn't able to do any garage sailing like I wanted to, I basically tried to make our trip across Kansas to the area kind of a game hunting adventure. You know, I picked a bunch of pawn shops and thrift stores and things like that along the way, in hopes that, you know, maybe I'd find some rural area that had a pawn shop with a bunch of games that no one's ever come across. They've just been sitting there for years, and I'd find like a sealed Snatcher or a sealed Hagane or, you know, something crazy. But spoiler alert, it didn't really happen. I didn't really find a whole heck of a lot. I did find some stuff, which is always good, but nothing really spectacular or to brag about too much. So first what I'm going to do is I'll talk about the stuff that I got last week, throughout the week, and then I'll show you guys the stuff that I picked up on the way out to the area, and then I'll show some more stuff that I got this week, along with, I did go garage sailing today. It was actually a pretty nice day out. It was about 50 degrees. There was about 22 sales I went to. So garage sale season hasn't quite gone into full swing like it usually, you know, does in the summer when there's like 50 or 60. But I still got a couple things today that I'm happy with, so I'll show you guys that. And I'll just kind of get started. So, and bear with me, I'm not too super organized. So, first thing I'll do is show you some stuff I got last week. I did pick up quite a few things at GameStop. As many of you know, PSP games and Wii games, they go for pretty cheap up there if you can find the right ones for the right price. And I don't have a lot of PSP or Wii games. They're kind of puny in my opinion, especially compared to a lot of others. So I'm really trying to bulk them up. So at this point, if I go to GameStop and I see a decent game on the cheap that's complete, I'm going to pick it up. You know, most of the time you go there, PSP games now, they throw the cases out, or people trade them in without the cases, so they're just, a lot of times, a little glass case that's got the UMD discs in there only. Or if they do have cases, they're crappy generic ones, and there's no manual. So, like I said, at this point, if I can find a complete, decent game for on the cheap, like less than $10, I'm probably going to pick it up, try to save it from the dumpsters out back. So these are the PSP games I picked up. First one is going to be Star Wars Battlefront 2, which, you know, I've talked about before. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and any Star Wars on the go is okay with me. So I got this for about $5, which, you know, is a pretty decent deal. I'm happy to have it. Next up is Siphon Filter Dark Mirror, which was $2.69, so that's kind of a no-brainer. I mean, like I said, these are all complete or I wouldn't have gotten them. Very cheap, and I've heard these actually are quite a bit of fun, so I was happy to pick that up. I was a big fan of the PlayStation 1 titles. Next up is Patapon, which it's a game that I've heard a lot about over the years, and it looks really interesting. I've just never gotten around to play it. And I believe this was like $4. It was less than $5. It was really cheap, so I was very happy to pick that up. Next up is Little Big Planet, which is another game I've heard a lot about over the years, and it looks very cute. The art looks just freaking adorable. So, and it was $8.99. I mean, it wasn't the cheapest game, but it sounds like a good enough title that it was worth buying. So, especially since some of these other games were so cheap, it made it worth it. And then the last one I got, which I normally would have passed over, is Snoopy versus the Red Baron. Like I said, it looks like a kiddish game, so 9 times out of 10, if I would have seen this, I would have passed it right over. I wouldn't even have looked at it. But ironically enough, that day I was watching Metal Jesus Rocks, and he was talking about some hidden gems for the PS2. And this was one of the games that he was talking about, so I figured since it's on the PSP, it's probably pretty similar in nature. So I picked it up. It was relatively cheap. It was $6.29. And then, you know, we went out to eat dinner after that. My daughter and I were watching some gameplay footage of it. And it does. It looks like a lot of fun. You know, you start off as Snoopy. He flies around on his doghouse, and I just thought that was hilarious. And it actually goes for quite a bit. I mean, it's not a cheap game. I think on Amazon used, the lowest I saw was like $16 to $20. So I was very happy to pick that up, very happy to beef up my PSP collection, and I got some more, but these are just the ones from GameStop. Let's see. And then another thing I picked up was Killer is Dead, the limited collector edition box set. I wanted to pick this up when it first came out, and for whatever reason, I just never did. It looked like it looked really cool. I liked the art book and everything. And I think when it came out, it was like 60 bucks. And I think when I went there last week and got this, it was GameStop new, you know, which means someone probably took it home, played the crap out of it, and screwed around or whatever. But I got it GameStop new for $27.99, which in my opinion is a very good deal, especially on some sort of box set like this. So I went ahead and picked it up. Hopefully I'll get to play it soon. Let's see. And then I did pick up a few Wii games that are really cheap. First up, I got De Blob, which I don't know anything about. It just looks interesting. It looks fun. I've heard a little bit about it, but not anything in detail. And it was under $3. I think it was like $2.69. So I picked that up. And then I went ahead and picked up the two Red Steel games, which unfortunately I've never gotten to play. They look really, really cool. I'm very infatuated with Japanese style, anything Japanese, especially if it's like samurai and ninja, stuff like that. So these are kind of right up my alley. The first one I heard isn't that great. You know, it's okay. The second one everybody says is pretty good. They picked up a lot of slack. I never got to play a second one because I never owned a Wii Motion Plus. I have my Wii hacked and I had this downloaded. I didn't have the equipment to play it. So I'm very happy to have these. They were less than $3 a piece. I think I got the two for like around $5. So very happy to have those. Add a few more games to the collection. Okay, let's see. Next up, what do we got here? Okay, next up is an eBay purchase I did. I was searching around one night. I found the thing that caught my eye was Legaia 2 Dual Saga. I saw that and I looked at just kind of a tip. Anytime you see games online, especially if it's not like a big seller, just someone trying to get rid of stuff, look at their other items and see what they have, because oftentimes they'll be trying to unload, you know, some of their older games they don't want anymore. And if you can buy multiple games, you're going to save yourself a lot of money on shipping, especially if they price it like these were priced at a weird time. I think they ended at like 3 a.m., which most people are going to be asleep, and I usually would be too, but for some reason I couldn't sleep that night. So, like I said, I initially found this. He had a whole bunch of PS2, PS1 games, some really good RPG titles that I was hoping to get for next to nothing, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. There were other people, obviously, you know, staying up till the wee hours of the morning, so I didn't get very much, but what I did get, I got an okay deal, and I was pretty happy with what I got. So, first one here is Busted Move 4 for the original PlayStation, and this is, I played the version, the arcade version a lot at Pizza Hut. My mom worked there, so I'd go there all the time, hang out, play the crap out of this game. It was a lot of fun, so I'm happy to have it. And I really like the artwork. I like the Taito dragons, you know, the Bubble Bobble dragons. They're just freaking adorable. So happy to have that. This next one, it's probably not a very good game, but it's called Aqua Aqua, and it's kind of got like a funky, kind of Japanese anime kind of style to it. And anytime I see games with that kind of artwork, it's kind of worth a gamble just to see if it's a hidden gem, because I've really never heard anything about this, and it could be good. It's probably garbage. I mean, it's made by 3DO, if that tells you anything, so I guess we'll kind of see. If I ever play it, I'll let you guys know. And if any of you guys know anything about it, you know, definitely let me know below. And then, of course, the one that I initially found that I wanted to pick up, it was Legaia 2 Dual Saga. I don't know much about this game. The only reason I was looking at it was because I had the original Legend of Legaia for the original PlayStation, which is an amazing RPG. I bought that when it first came out back in the day, and I played the crap out of it. It's an amazing, amazing game. So I assume this probably can't be half bad. So I figure why not. And again, if you guys know anything about it, please let me know. I'd be curious to see what you think, if you could compare the two. And altogether, I think I paid about $14 for these shipped. So like I said, it's not a phenomenal deal, but it wasn't bad. It was just kind of nice to get multiple things from the same person, and he obviously took really good care of his items. it did suck because he had other games like Tales from the Abyss and other really good RPGs I would have loved to have gotten, but people sniped him last minute, got him for super ridiculous prices. So, and then the last two here, every week I go to the pawn shops in our area just to see what they have. They didn't have a whole lot that week, but they did have a couple PSP games. They've been sitting there forever. I just, for whatever reason, never bought them. And I figured, if I can get a good deal on them, I'll go and pick them up. So the first one here is Siphon Filter Logan Shadow. It's still sealed, which is very cool. I'm very happy about that. And the sticker on there says $13, which I think he could tell I was apprehensive when I saw that. So he's like, you know what, man, if you come in here a lot, if you grab a couple games, I'll make a deal with you. So the only other decent PSP game they had was Resistance Retribution, which I'm a huge fan of the PS3 versions. I played the crap out of those. And a lot of people say these are as good as those. They're a lot of fun, especially on the go. And again, this is complete in very good shape. And I think by the time I walked out of there, I got a couple movies as well, which I'll show at the end, just in case you guys don't want to see that. Most people are here for the games. But I believe I got these two for $10 for the pair. So considering this was $13 by itself, I was very happy with that. The guy's very nice. So very happy to add these. I'm going to keep this sealed. If I want to play it, I'll probably just download the ISO and play it on my hacked PSP, just so I can keep it sealed. I don't have a whole lot of sealed games, so I'm not going to mess that up. All right. And then I got another eBay item. This is, a Final Fantasy VII item that I can add to my shrine, which I'm always happy to do because I'm kind of running out of things to add to it that are legitimate, that aren't bootlegs. So this is a Final Fantasy VII Advent Children prologue book, which I've seen for several years. Usually, people are asking like $30 or $40 for it, and then you got to pay to have it shipped from Japan, which is sometimes it's free, sometimes it's like $20. And it's a cool book. I mean, it's got really nice artwork in it. It's got a whole bunch of I don't know if you can see it, screenshots from the Advent Children movie, and it's in Japanese, which is very cool. They tend to have a lot better artwork than we do for some reason, and I love seeing the kanji and katakana and hiragana. Like I said, I love Japanese stuff, so this is very cool. And like I said, it goes usually for like 30 or $40 from what I've seen. I got it for, I think it was like $7 with shipping. I believe it was like a Goodwill kind of place that got it. They just probably didn't know what it was. So again, very happy to have this and add. And I'm going to try my very hardest to get this little area over here cleaned up so I can show off my Final Fantasy VII Shrine. I've been promising it for a while, and I really want to show it. So I promise I'll try to get that done this weekend. There's like to all 5 people that want to see it. I know there's not a lot of interest in it, but I'd love to talk about it. So I'm going to try to get that done this weekend. Alright, so now, there was actually one deal I did before we went on a road trip. I was looking at garage sale ads. I don't know how I was because I knew I wasn't going to be able to go to them. I was just teasing myself. But I thought maybe if I sent some emails to some people, maybe I could find a couple games, do the deals before we left, and just avoid the whole thing altogether and still score. Which most people I either didn't get replies from, they didn't have games, or they just didn't want to go outside the sale. I don't know why. I mean, if they're trying to sell it, it doesn't make sense. But I guess I can kind of understand. But the only one that I was able to find, one dude had an Xbox collection for sale, and he said he had, like 30 or 40 games with the system and the controllers and the hookups and everything, and he said he wanted $50 for it. So of course I was interested and asked him to send me pictures. So I get the pictures and I'm starting to go through it, and like the first probably half of them are sports title, and I almost just said, what the hell with it, this is gonna be garbage, it's not gonna be worth my time. So I almost said no, but I went ahead and looked through the whole stack, and I found 2 very awesome games in there, which I'm gonna show, of course, which obviously made me buy the deal because they're very hard to find. So I'll run through these really quick. Like I said, most of them are sports titles. They're nothing to brag on, but my Xbox collection's not very big at all, so I'm very happy to kind of beef it up a little bit. I don't actively collect for it because I was just never a big Xbox fan, but if I can pick them up on the cheap, I'll get them. I probably shouldn't. That's probably hoarding. So anyway, I got ESPN 2K5, NBA Live 2005, Ghost Recon, NASCAR Thunder 2004, a Namco Collection compilation disc. This is actually pretty cool. I'm happy to have this. I love all these older games. There's Dig Dug, Miss Pac-Man, Galaga. Yeah, I was happy to get that. I know it's not really valuable or anything, but it's cool. MX Unleashed, NCAA Football 2005, NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005, Scooby-Doo Night of 1,000 Frights, which, you know, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and for whatever, I wasn't a big Scooby-Doo fan. All my friends were, like in daycare and stuff, they would sit there and watch it all day. Scooby-Doo and the Flintstones, I just never got into them. I was more into like Power Rangers and X-Men and stuff like that. I tried to like it so I could fit in. I couldn't do it, so that's the first stack there. Okay. And then we've got Call of Duty Finest Hour, Brute Force, which I don't really know much about. It actually looks like some fun, so I might give this a go one of these days. Legend of Spyro, which is in this generic GameStop case. Max Payne 2, Fall of Max Payne. I've not actually played any of these sequels to Max Payne. I've played the first one, which I absolutely love the game. It's very dark and twisted, but haven't got to play these yet, so I'll probably play this one on this system, as a lot of people say shooters are more fun on Xbox. It's still got the sticker. It hasn't even been opened yet, so it's almost kind of a shame to do so. I don't know if I will. But Sega GT 2002, and also Jet Set Radio Future. The Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay, and Splinter Cell, of course. This one, I actually liked it a lot better on the Xbox. I played it on the PS2, but for some reason, it just was more enjoyable for me on the Xbox. I don't know if it's the controller, if it's the graphics, or what it is, but I enjoyed it very much, so I'm definitely excited to play this. The Incredibles, which I don't know if it's any good. I doubt it, since it's, you know, a movie license game. Most are garbage, but very awesome movie. I liked it a lot. Now this next one, when I saw it on the lot, I was actually excited because, as I said, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. I was a huge RoboCop fan. Like when I was 3 years old, I saw it for the first time. And I just think it's such an awesome character. The first movie is amazing. So I saw this in there, and I got really excited. Like I said, but as soon as I got home and I got it, I saw this little logo here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's made by Titus, which some of you may know is the group that made the Superman 64 game. So I was very apprehensive if it's going to be worth anything. I mean, if it's going to be a decent game. It's probably crap. So I got home, watched some gameplay footage of it, and I gotta say, it looks god-awful. I mean, the shooting aspect of it looks like a lot of fun, so I'm probably gonna give it a go, but the audio was horrible. Like, they made RoboCop kind of a cocky douchebag. Like, he's like, bullseye, and he's just, I don't know. And every time he walks, it makes robot sounds, which I understand he's a robot, but gee, yeah, it just gets really old hearing. Next up is NCAA 07 Football, ATV Quad Power Racing 2. This one I'm actually kind of interested in. Spawn Armageddon. I was a pretty big fan of the Spawn movie when it came out back in like '96. I thought it was pretty cool. It didn't get much love, but I thought it's a very awesome concept. Anything to do with Satan's army in hell, it's pretty badass in my opinion. And if you ever get a chance, watch the animated series that HBO made. It's very kick-ass. So I'm definitely going to give this one a go. This looks very cool. Fable, which I've heard a lot about, and it seems like fun. Like I said, I'm not an Xbox guy, so I've never played it. So I am happy to have this, and it's really heavy. It's got multiple discs. Okay. NFL Street. Let's see, Madden 2002. And this is one of the games I was happy to get. I've already got it. I've got several copies of it here lately for some reason, but this one is immaculate. Like, it's Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords. And like I said, it's in very good shape. I mean, it looks like they opened it, played it maybe once or twice, and that was it. The book, the game, everything is perfect. So I think I'm going to swap this out for my copy, because my copy is a little rough. So very happy to get that. These games are awesome if you haven't played them. Halo, of course, every Xbox you have to have Halo. That's the only reason I bought one back in the day in the first place. Soul Calibur 2, Van Helsing, Splinter Cell, Pandora Tomorrow, Madden 2007, MVP 06, NCAA Baseball. Alright, and this is the one that I was very excited about. When I was looking through the pictures, I was like, crap, garbage, sport, crap, garbage, sport. What's this? And so I see this little emblem right here, and I was like, I think I know what that is, but there's no way he's got that game in that big lot of crap. So sure enough, I was like, hey, is that Conquer by chance? And sure enough, he's like, yeah, it is. It's a very fun game. I had it for the Nintendo 64, so I had to have it for this. I was very, very happy to get this. I don't know much about the Xbox. Like I said, I don't really actively collect for it, but I know for sure this is a very hard game to find. It's worth quite a bit. I mean, I want to say like $50 to $60. And again, it's an immaculate shape. I mean, they cut through the sticker, opened it, and it looks like they played it maybe once, if ever. Well, obviously he played it because he was a fan, but there's no scratches on it whatsoever. So I was very, very, very happy to get this. Very happy to add it to the collection. So that in itself was definitely worth the price I paid for it, honestly. But so the rest of the games were filler, obviously, but it's like I said, it's nice to beef up the collection a little bit. And of course, you know, it came with the Xbox system. It's in really good shape, just very dusty. As he said, it just sat in his RV the whole time. They never really played it. The system, 2 wired controllers, the cables, of course, and I think I paid $40 for the lot, so I was very, very happy about that. I didn't even try to really talk him down. I thought that was a good deal just because of Conkers and Knights of the Old Republic. So that was very cool. I'm very happy about that. You know, absolutely. So let's see, what else we got here? So I think that is everything I got before we went on the road trip. So the next things I'll show you is what we actually picked up on the way to Kansas. Which, like I said, it's not a lot. We stopped in Kansas City and is where I picked up a bulk of the things that I got. So I'll just kind of start off here. So the first things I have here, just a couple PSP games, nothing great, but they were at a Salvation Army, and they were $1.50 a piece, so I couldn't pass those up. They are complete, they're in good shape, which is the Simpsons game and Burnout Legends. I've not played either one of these, but like I said, for that cheap, I couldn't pass them up. They had a few other games. They weren't really spectacular, and they were just really grungy. I mean, they were just stained. It was like animals pissed on it and then shed fur on it. They were just, I wasn't going to touch them. It wasn't even worth cleaning them. And the thing that really sucked, and this was an ongoing thing I heard all day, was, you know, I was like, did you guys maybe have other games somewhere? And the lady says, oh, we had about 20 of these earlier, but you just missed them. Some guy came through and grabbed a whole bunch of them. Yeah, he just came right in and snatched them up. And that hurt, you know, like I said, all day I kept hearing that, every store I went to. So I now know what Billy and Jay feel like, you know, on their trip, when their episodes where they went out to Washington, D.C., they kept hearing that all day. It sucks when you hear that. It sucks when you hear it anytime, but when you hear it over and over, it kills your confidence. I mean, it just makes you want to stop looking altogether. Next up, we went to a Goodwill, which was a lot bigger than the one we have. I live in Columbia, Missouri. If any of you know the area, it's not big at all. I mean, it's a pretty good sized town because it's a college town. It's where University of Missouri is, or Mizzou is. But there's not a lot here. So the Goodwill we have is really small, but this place was huge. I was blown away. I'm kind of a small town person anyway. Anyway, they didn't really have much for games. They had a few sports games, so obviously somebody came through and cleared them out. But I did pick up Bubba Bobble Double Shot, and it was only $1, so I was going to get it. I opened it up, and unfortunately, like, it is the game. I did test it, but as you can see, the label has been worn off. I don't understand how people take such shitty care of crappy things of their things. It just really kind of irks me. I don't understand how you take such poor care of your things, especially. I mean, games aren't cheap. It just blows me away. But anyway, $1. I'm not going to complain about it. I mean, I can maybe print off another one or something. I don't know. But for $1, I'm not going to complain too much. Let's see. At that same Goodwill, I also picked up this Final Fantasy VIII strategy guide. And this was only like 95 cents or something like that. So I had to grab it. I couldn't pass it up. I've already got one, but, you know, for that cheap, I figured, what the hell? I mean, whenever I get to 100 subs, if I get there, I've been kind of stagnant here lately. I'm going to, you know, kind of have a giveaway contest, so I might just throw this in with a couple other things. And again, for $1, I wasn't going to pass it up. And oddly enough, it was actually sitting out. Like, it was out from all the other books. So somebody, apparently, you know, they grabbed it, looked at it, and just thought maybe $1 was too much for it. I don't know what the hell they were thinking, but Let's see. And then the next store we went to was called Red Zipper or Red something. I don't know. It was a thrift store chain I'd never heard of. And I got a couple cool things there. The first thing I found was this Cybex unofficial PlayStation Ultimate Strategy Guide Millennium Edition. It just rolls right off the tongue there. But again, it was less than $1, and it's nothing really that cool. It's just, it is cool. There's nothing really great in here. It's very nostalgic for me. It kind of takes me back to the the late '90s, early 2000s. It's kind of neat to look through to see what games were big back then and just how people talked about it. It's kind of neat. So it was cheap. Like I said, it was about $1. The thing that I found I was really excited about, though, was this box Game Shark 2. I had already gone and looked at all the games. Of course, same story. Someone came and wiped them out, so they had freaking sports titles out the yin-yang. And if any of you've been to thrift stores, they have these little wheelie carts where they have all these items that they're kind of taking around the store to put out for display. And this was sitting on there, so I guarantee that's the only reason I got this is because it hadn't been put out yet, and I think they just wheeled it out from the little donation area. So I saw this in the corner of my eye, I snatched it up, and it's in phenomenal shape. There's not really a ding on there. So the fact that this has been around for 10 or 15 years and went to a Goodwill and it's still in perfect shape, that just blows me away. And it's complete. It's got all the paper. It was still sealed, actually. I only opened it to check that it was intact. But yeah, everything's in there. It's in phenomenal shape, and it's only $4.98, which is amazing because I didn't think it was real. I figured that's probably what it's worth. It's just kind of cool to have. But when we stopped to eat, I was kind of looking on my phone, and I saw that the price charting shows it to be worth around $50. So that was very cool. I was very happy about that. And then a little rinky-dink pawn shop I stopped in. It was in a little rural area right outside Kansas City. They didn't really have much for games. He had an N64 with a expansion pack and a couple controllers for like $40. It wasn't worth it for me to pick it up. I already have one, so. But I did pick up a couple Wii games. This I didn't have. No More Heroes. I've heard a lot about it. It looks like a lot of fun, so I'm very happy to pick this up. And it was complete. It's in pretty good shape. And the other one he had that I wanted was Legend of Zelda: The Twilight Princess, which I've got, a copy for the Wii and for the GameCube. But I got these both for $5 for the pair. So, that was a hell of a deal. I didn't want to pass them up. So, I think what I'll do when I hit my 100 sub contest, I'll throw this in also as a giveaway or something like that. So, happy about that. Okay, so that is everything I got. That was everything on the way there. By the time we stopped in Kansas City, I screwed around for so long that things were it was getting late. So there was a lot of pawn shops along the way I didn't get to see, unfortunately. So Lord only knows what I missed. And one of the things I was really, really anxious about was back in high school, I had a huge collection of PlayStation games, most of which were RPGs, like Legend of Legaia, the Final Fantasy series, Legend of Dragoon, Brave Fencer Musashi, Wild Arms. I had a lot of really good games, and I took really good care of them. Some of them are still sealed because I'd buy these games as they came out, but because RPGs take so long, I just never got to them, and I only opened them as I played them. So I couldn't remember. This was years ago when I moved out. I was hoping to God I just forgot them there. They were just packed away in a box somewhere, but I couldn't remember if I did that or if I sold them. So we got back, and as soon as we got to my grandparents' house, I ran upstairs and I dug through like every box up there, just desperately hoping to find a PlayStation logo somewhere. And unfortunately, I didn't find anything, so I'm 95% sure what happened was my brother had moved in with us before I left for college. He really wanted a PlayStation 2, so I sold all my games to help him buy one. It hurts so bad because a lot of those games are worth so much now, and they're, it sucks. I'll probably have to pay retail to get them again. And it wouldn't hurt so much if he and I still had a good relationship, but me and him aren't really that close. Like, we kind of don't care for each other anymore. So that makes it that much worse that I did it kind of for nothing. So, but I did find something that I completely forgot I had. So I was excited to find this in the box, just not as excited as I would have been if I found those PlayStation games. So, the first thing I found was, it's a PS2, like a little mobile LCD screen. I don't remember ever owning this, so I think what happened, one of my buddies probably had his friends over, and they probably brought this and just left it. And it's been sitting there for over 10 years, so I don't think they're going to miss it. So I was like, I'll take that. I don't know if it's expensive or anything. I don't even know if it works. I haven't tested it yet, but it's cool. I was pretty happy to have this. I don't know if it'll ever get used, but it's a neat little piece. And then the thing that I was really happy to find was I found a box full of NES stuff, which I completely forgot I had. I had, at one point, I do remember now, I had 2 NES systems and this stack of games, which, it's not very impressive, but it got me by. And I remember one night I got drunk and thought, hey, I'm going to turn one of these Nintendos into a small PC, which I didn't know anything, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't know anything about computers back then. So, I mean, I essentially broke it for no reason. I think it probably got thrown away. The other one, I don't know what happened to it. It wasn't in the box, so. But I did find a stack of games. I was very happy because some of these I don't have. So that's very cool that I can add something new to my NES collection. I don't have a lot of NES games, maybe a couple hundred, but when you get to that many, it gets hard to find stuff that you don't already have. So I'll kind of run through these really quick. And of course, everybody has to have this Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. Legend of Zelda, the gold cartridge, which is the game I played the most. I probably played that more than anything. Adventures of Dino Ricky, which I didn't have, so that's very cool to add. Tecmo Super Bowl. Tetris. Yoshi's Cookie. Stinger. Snake Rattle and Roll, which I played this a lot as a kid, and I don't actually have it, so I'm very happy that I get to put this in the collection, because I think I've had this since I was a kid, so this is very, very, very cool that I still have that. Yoshi. Classic Concentration, which is another one I don't have. And the Super Mario Brothers / Duck Hunt / World Class Track Meet, which is weird, because I never even had I never had one of those power pads or whatever, so I'm not sure why I had that. So that was cool. I was very happy to find these. I mean, like I said, I wish I would have found the PlayStation games, but at least I got something out of the deal. All right, so that was what I found back home, and I think that kind of gets. Oh, I forgot about this. This is something I picked up at one of the thrift shops. It's cool. It's a little Star Wars blaster for a Wii game. I don't know anything about it. I saw it there. It was like $3. My daughter, she just had to have it. I don't know why. So we grabbed it. She played with it the whole way home, and it's just kind of cool. I mean, you throw the little Wii controller in there and just play some, House of the Dead or something. So I forgot I had this. All right, so next up, what I'm going to show you guys is basically what I got today going garage sailing. Again, it wasn't, anything spectacular. Like I said, garage selling hasn't really ramped up yet. There was only like 20-some sales, so I was happy to get some stuff. It wasn't very magnificent or as epic as I was hoping to be. So the first thing I got was actually I emailed a lady a couple days ago, and she said that she had a Game Boy Advance, and a few games. And one thing about that, it's kind of, like CJR was saying in his garage sale tips, it's kind of a dirty tactic because there are people that go around and they ask for it, and they get kind of pissed off that they're holding it for somebody else. But at that time I didn't think there's going to be many sales, so I don't want to waste my time going to just a few sales if they're not going to have anything. So this is my way of just kind of cutting back, wasting gas and time. But anyway, so I asked the lady, if she had games. Oh, and the thing I was going to talk about was it's kind of risky because sometimes it pays off, because like the Xbox slot that I got paid off big time for me. The guy just wanted to get rid of it. I got first dibs on it. It was a great deal. But there's been other times where, I've asked people if they have gaming stuff, and I guarantee 9 times out of 10, if I had just gone to the sale and found it, they'd give it pretty much give it away for next to nothing. But when you email them ahead of time, it gives them an opportunity to look stuff up on eBay and kind of price things. So I did have one lady do that to me. She went on eBay, she found like the buy it now prices, and she asked a god-awful amount on a couple of Game Boy games. So I, of course, passed on that. But this one, she said she had the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy, a few games. She was very nice. She said she'd hold it for me till I got there in the morning. She only wanted $20 for it. I didn't know what it was, but for $20 for a couple of Game Boys and games, I was all over it. So, so I got there, and it comes in a nice little Game Boy Advance case. and I got a kind of a teal colored Game Boy Color, which is very cool because I don't actually have this one, so I'm very happy to add it. I'm trying to get all the color variants of the Game Boy Color system, so that's very cool. A blue, I think it's called Cobalt Game Boy Advance SP. Unfortunately, it's the 001 model, not the 101, but it's still nice to have this loose. I've got this in a box, so I would like to also have them, all, all the Game Boy Advance SP colors. I'd like to have them all boxed and also the loose variants, but so that's cool to add. Of course, the charger, which I've been lucky so far. I've not ever gotten a Game Boy Advance SP that didn't have the charger, so that's kind of cool. I figured that's something a lot of people would lose. And most of these games I don't have, so I'm very happy to add these. Grand Theft Auto 2, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, Ronaldo Soccer, Baseball, NHL Blades of Steel 2000, a Pokemon Gold version, which, to be honest with you, I'm not sure if I have. I know I've got the Pikachu Yellow version, but I don't know if I have the Gold. I think I do. My favorite game in the world, and it's super, super rare, so good luck finding a copy for yourself. But Dora the Explorer, the Double Pack, Pirate Pig's Treasure, and Superstar Adventures. So I'm very lucky to find that. And, of course, Super Mario Advance, Super Mario Bros. 3. I think, like I said, she asked $20 for it. I didn't even try to talk her down on it. I thought that was a really good deal, so I was very happy to pick that up for 20 bucks. And let's see. And then yet another one that another deal that I emailed about. The lady said she had a Game Gear, one game for it, a Game Boy, and a couple games. She's the one that actually, I said no because she said she was going to look up on eBay, and she found these god-awful prices. So I told her, you know what, don't worry, I'm not going to touch it. Thanks for your time, though. And I meant to mark her address off my list as I was going garage selling today, but apparently I didn't. So I went to the sale, didn't see any games. I asked for games, and she goes, "Are you Gary? Are you the guy that asked me about it?" And I was like, "Yeah, probably. I send a lot of those out." And she's like, "You know what? I was thinking about it, and I just really want to get rid of those. So I'll just give it to you for 20 bucks." I was trying to think of who it was, and when she brought the stuff out, I kind of put two and two together. I was like, "Oh, that's awesome. That's very cool. That's nice of you." So I got an original Game Boy. The only thing was, she didn't have any battery, so I didn't get to test these things, but she said if they don't work, just take them back and she'll refund me, which is very, very nice. So I got original Game Boy. I didn't see any corrosion, so it should work okay unless the screen's jacked up. I got another Game Gear, which, if you guys watched my channel a couple weeks ago, I picked up my first Game Gear, which I was very excited about, and this one's in pretty good shape. The screen is scratched to hell, though, but this one actually has the battery covers, which the one I got last time didn't. So I'll probably take these battery covers, put it on that, and maybe trade this off or throw it in the giveaway contest or something. I don't know. So got those. And like I said, a couple games. Nothing really spectacular, but got Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, which I already have. So Wario Land, which I don't have. So that's pretty nice to be able to add that. Donkey Kong Land, which I do already have, unfortunately. And a Game Gear game. I'm not even sure what it is. Oh, Jesus, really? Come on. Super Columns. So, I mean, nothing spectacular, nothing exciting, but it was a Game Gear game I don't have, and they all have their little protective cases, which is very nice. The more I have of these, the better, so. Jesus, I'm not very smart, apparently. So, and this was, like I said, that was 20 bucks. It wasn't a great deal, but, I think I was lucky to get it for that. She could have put it on eBay or sold it to somebody else. So, it's cool. And as far as other games, I just really didn't come across any today. The few sales that actually had games before, same story. Someone picked all the good ones up before I got there. So, one sale I went to, he had some Xbox games. I had most of them. But he had the original Star Wars Battlefront. I really wish it was the second one, but I didn't have this, so I was very happy to add it. And then another sale I went to really pissed me off. This family was like, "Oh, we have so many freaking games. We've got, box full of PlayStation games. We've got a box full of a GameCube with a bunch of games. So, hang here. We're going to go run up the road, go to our house and get it, and then we'll come back and sell it to you." So I went down the road to kind of kill some time to go check out another sale. I come back, and they get out of the car. I'm really excited to see what they're going to have. And the dude walks up with like a stack this big of games. So I was like, okay, well, maybe he's just giving me an idea of what he has and he's going to come back. No, that was all he had. And it was crap. They were just PS2 and GameCube games. Either I already had them or they were just garbage titles that I didn't want. So I picked up one game, I mean, just to make it worth my time, to make it worth their time for doing it. So I got Rayman 3, Hoodlum Havoc. I didn't have it, and I think he gave it to me for $1, so... It kind of pissed me off, though, because like I said, I spent 30 minutes out there just killing time waiting for absolutely nothing. So that... But you never know. I mean, if I would have left, with my luck, had I left, he would have came back with just stacks of games, and that's the thought that always keeps me behind. And then the last sale that I went to, the very last one I went to, went up and asked her if she had any games. I didn't see any out. And she said she had an old Xbox that they didn't really want anymore. They're just ready to get rid of it. And I was thinking she meant like an original Xbox. So I was like, okay, how much? She's like, $15. She's like, 15 for an Xbox? I don't know. Do you have any games for it? And she's like, well, let me go look. So she goes, kind of rummages through her garage, and she comes back. And she actually brought a Xbox 360, not a regular Xbox. So I was like, holy shit, $15 for a 360? So I assumed it was broken, but she said, they just played it a couple months ago. She seemed like a really nice and honest lady, so even for $15, I'm willing to take a risk on it. I mean, if it doesn't work, I can probably sell it for parts for that much just to kind of break even. So I got this with all the cables, 2 wireless controllers, and she threw in a PS3 controller they had left over for free. And then they also... This is kind of off topic of gaming, but my daughter and I, we've been wanting to camp out for like the last couple years. Just never did it. We never bought a tent. I've never gotten around to it. Well, they happen to have a couple tents for sale. They had a huge, massive, 6-person tent. So I picked that up for $40, which was a great deal. Kind of bundled it with this. I think I got the set for $50. So that, I was very, very happy with it. It was a very great deal all around. So walked out of there with that. And really, that's as far as I have. That's all I have for games. There's nothing. There's a couple good ones in here. Like I said, there's nothing too grand or spectacular. Nothing like I was hoping to come back and show you guys. There was a set that I found on Craigslist, and I kind of talked to CJR about it. I asked him for his advice. Basically, this family, they had a Nintendo, an NES in the original box. It was a power pad set. So it came with like the system, the light gun, and the power pad. And then they had like 100 games, and some of them are very, very uncommon, even kind of rare, like Metal Storm, Felix the Cat, Zen the Intergalactic Ninja, all the Castlevania games. But they said like $400, they would not come down no matter how hard I tried. But everything, I really wanted to do it. I really did, because it is a pretty good deal, because all that stuff's worth, over $1,000. But a lot of the games, the labels were either completely worn off, they were worn on the top, the games looked like they were stained, the box for the system was just really beat to hell. So usually I can make a decision on my own, but I asked CJR what he thought, and he's like, man, just the shape that it's in, I would pass, and that's kind of what I was leaning towards. So I tried to offer them $300, they wouldn't do it, they're just going to hold on to it. It really sucks, because I would have loved to have had some of those games. Oh, and they also had that Maxi 15-in-1 cart, which is pretty hard to find. The price wasn't right. That's a lot of money to fork out, $400, especially when they won't budge, even with reasoning. So it's too bad. I would have loved to have that to show you guys, but unfortunately, just the stars didn't align. So that's it. If you guys are done, if you don't want to see everything else I got, I have some movies that I picked up and a lot of CDs. If you don't care about that, you can end the video now or just kind of fast forward, because I do want to do a question. Something I kind of want to start doing every week is kind of a let's converse thing, basically where I talk about a topic. And I'd like to get your guys' feedback, just kind of interact a little bit and talk. So, like I said, I'll show the music and the movies I got, and then I'm going to do the little segment of the week or whatever. So... I didn't really get a whole lot of movies. These are just, I picked these up at the pawn shop. They're always cheap. They're $5 a piece. If you buy multiple, they give you a deal. So I got Silent Hill, which I'm a huge fan of the games. I'm a horror movie fanatic. I love scary movies, so I was very happy to grab this. Haven't seen it yet, so Ted, which I was really surprised to see it for $5. If you haven't seen it, it's absolutely hilarious. I highly recommend you watch it. I was very happy to grab that. Army of Darkness, the Screwhead Edition. I love the Evil Dead series. This movie is absolutely fantastic. It's hilarious. Sam Raimi, or Raimi, however you say it, he does some really great work. If you've seen Drag Me to Hell, very campy, very funny, very gruesome. I just absolutely love those kind of movies. They're great. Pick up the original Puppet Master. I haven't seen this since I was a kid, so I don't remember if it's any good or not, but I'm still excited to watch it regardless. The cornier the horror film, the better it is. I mean, if I can cry laughing during it, I'm happy with it. Like, it's just, so I'm pretty excited to watch this. And then I picked up Zookeeper. It's a good family movie. My daughter loved it. It's something good for us all to watch, and it's actually a pretty good movie if you get a chance and kind of give it a try. So those are the movies I picked up. Let's see. And yes, I still buy CDs. I know. Oh my God, he's super lame. He buys CDs. I know. If I'm gonna buy music, I want to hold it in my hand. I want to have tangible property, and CD quality is, as far as I'm concerned, the best. I mean, you can download music and it's great. You can put it on your phone and save space and everything, but like I said, the sound quality is just amazing, and I like having the physical property. I'm just kind of old school that way, I guess. And there's a lot here, so I'll try to run through them really quick. Quite a diverse bit of music. Matchbox 20, More Than You Think You Are. I used to love those guys back in the day. Family Values, Tour 99. I used to love listening to these live compilation CDs. I was really bummed when I was a kid. I was too young to go to these shows, so that was as close as I could get. Hoobastank the Reason. Very, very good CD. Blindside. If you guys haven't heard of these, they're a Christian band, but they're very, very good. Their first CD, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. It's a lot better, but this is still a good one. And I paid, these were all $1 each, so that's why I picked them up. Deftones, Around the Fur, big Deftones fan, so that's a very awesome CD, especially My Own Summer. That's a kick-ass song. Nirvana, Nevermind. It's kind of it's a classic CD. I listened to it a lot when I was younger. I'm not crazy about it now. I was hoping I could get back into it. Once you kind of get into death metal, it's hard to go back to some of this stuff. Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil. I mean, you can't go wrong with 80s hair metal. It's the best, man. It really is. Eminem, the Slim Shady EP. I'm really not a big fan of the guy. I think he's kind of a douchebag. But I used to listen to this a lot when I was younger. Again, I was hoping I could kind of listen to it and get back into it. But there are some good songs on here, though. Metallica, Ride the Lightning. This is back in Metallica's day when they were still awesome. I'm not crazy about them now. I think they're all kind of a bunch of sellouts, but this was back in their heyday. It's good stuff. Eiffel 65. I know it's corny as hell that I bought it, but there's a song on here called My Console, which is it's like just a techno song about the PlayStation. I used to like it when it first came out back in the 90s, so. Got Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt. This is, I want to say it's like his first album, and it's really good. If you're into hip-hop, it's a really good album. Korn, The Untouchables. I think this was probably the last CD of theirs that I was actually into before they kind of drifted away, and I think they started changing up their band members, and it's a good one. It's just, after this, I wasn't too into them anymore, so. Saint Anger. I don't know why I picked this up because I really don't like this, but it was $1. I don't know. I figured, what the hell. Genius, Jizza, Liquid Swords. This is kind of a classic hip hop album if you're into that kind of stuff. It's pretty good. I like it a lot. Evanescence, self-explanatory. Fear Factory. I was really happy to pick this one up. I would have been a lot happier if it was Remanufacturer or some of their newer stuff. This isn't my favorite CD of theirs, but it's Fear Factory. They're still badass regardless. End of Days. I looked at some of the bands on here, like Korn, Everlast, Professional Murder Music, Limp Bizkit. Now, it sounded a lot better than it was when I listened to it on the way to Kansas. It wasn't. I took it out really fast. It wasn't that great. Methods of Mayhem. I bought this when it first came out. I was like, when Get Naked came out, and I thought it was an awesome song. It's still a good CD. I still enjoy listening to it. I don't know why. It's kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. Papa Roach, Love, Hate, Tragedy. I think this is a very underrated album. It didn't get any, from what I remember, I don't think it got any recognition. It didn't get any airtime hardly. It's a really good album. I mean, my favorite one is still Infest. This is right up there with it. It's very, very good. If you haven't got a chance, definitely give it a listen. There's some really good stuff on there. I got me some 2-pack shaker. I like me some 2-pack. You know, I grew up on the hard streets of Northwest Kansas as a white boy. It's not easy, so this kind of helped me deal with what I was going through, you know. So I like me this is a really good album though if you're a Tupac fan. Nas, I forget what this one's called. It was written. This is a pretty good album as well. If you can't tell, I kind of had a identity crisis as a kid. I kind of went through a phase where I thought I was black apparently. But it's, you know, if you can listen to this kind of, it is a good album. I've noticed as I got older, the stuff that I thought was just amazing as a younger kid, I listen to the lyrics now, and they just talk about how they used to kill people and they were drug dealers, and now they bang hoes every night. It's just so hard to listen to now. I just can't get into it like I did. I guess that's part of getting older. There are very good hip hop albums where they don't talk about that. They talk about positive things, but. Anyway, Metallica, the Black Album. This is an amazing album. If you guys listen to Metallica, all you guys know that. And I just never owned it, which really bums me out. So I was happy to pick that one up. I don't know why the hell I bought this. Limp Bizkit, New Old Song. It's terrible. Like, I don't know why they put this out. It was the biggest hunk of crap I've ever listened to. Another guilty pleasure of mine. I'm a huge Limp Bizkit fan. I do like their stuff. I grew up with that new metal era as a teenager. This was just crap. It's just a bunch of remixes of their stuff, and it's just oh, it's horrible. I didn't listen to it for more than 5 minutes. System of a Down, Toxicity. This was a kick-ass CD when it came out. It's their best one in my opinion. I love it. Just never owned it for whatever reason. Picked up some Van Halen. You can't go wrong with them. Like I said, any kind of 80s hair metal band. This is a pretty good album. Rat, which this is actually a lot better than I thought. The only song of theirs I really knew was Round and Round. I thought they were kind of a one-hit wonder band, but I listened to this whole album and it's just kick-ass from beginning to end. I mean, it makes you want to go freaking take shots and party all night. It's a very good CD if you get a chance. And then the last one I have here is Stain, Dysfunction. I think this is their album they put out before they kind of got, you know, big. I can't remember what the name of the album was with it's been a while, but it's a very good listen if you get a chance. So that is all my music. I'm sorry that took 20 minutes. But yeah, thank you guys if you guys watch this whole video. This is probably going to be like a 30, 40, 50 minute video. So I'm sorry. I didn't mean to drag it out so long. I missed you guys. I haven't seen you in a while. So like I said, I want to do this little topic or this little part of every week where we kind of converse. I want to put out a topic, talk about it a little bit myself, and then just kind of see what you guys think. I'll probably do its own segment instead of throwing it in with my pickup video, but this is just kind of my way of starting it. And kind of going back to, where I was talking about where I sold my old PlayStation games, that I regret the hell out of that. Like, I mean, you guys have no idea how much it pains me that I don't have those anymore. So my question for you guys is, what is your biggest regret as far as gaming goes? I mean, we've all had times where we bought a game that we paid too much for. We've seen a game that we really wanted when we hesitated because of the price. We went back and it was gone, or we traded something off thinking we were making out like bandits, and it turned out we got screwed in the end. So yeah, I'm curious. What are some of the biggest mistakes or regrets that you guys have as far as gaming? I'd love to see what you guys have. If anybody can come up with something more pathetic than mine, it'll just make me feel better. So this is my way of trying to cope with it. So yeah, do a video response if you like, or just leave comments below. Tell me about your biggest regret. I'd love to see what you guys have to say. So that's all I have, guys. Thank you very much for putting up with me for this long. I appreciate it. Hopefully I can be consistent again making these videos every week. And again, I'm going to try to get my Final Fantasy Shrine shown off this weekend. Also going to try to do another Let's Play video. I'm probably going to do another Super Nintendo game like UN Squadron or something. I'm kind of juggling a few. So we'll see. But thank you guys again very much. If you would, please like this video. Subscribe if you like what you see, you want to see more. Check out some of my older stuff. I've only got a few videos up, but definitely check those out. And thank you guys very much. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Take care.